What's up guys, Jeff Cavaliere, ATHLEAN-X.com. Today we kick off a brand new series, The Bulletproof Body, and we're talking today about chest. How do you build a bigger chest without sacrificing your entire body along the way? Because guys, we're not bodybuilders here, and it's not just about looking better, but looking better without sacrificing the feeling better part of the equation too. And so of course, if longevity is important to you, you want to be able to train for years to come, then the warm-up is going to be part of your routine. And it's something I learned a long time ago, show and go will always work, and if I only started it when I was 20, I'd be a lot better off now. So what does your warm-up look like? Probably a lot different than what you're doing right now. Because a lot of us spend too much time doing things that don't actually matter towards the task at hand today. And in a chest workout, running 20 minutes on the treadmill isn't going to cut it. So what do? It's called a bodyweight systems check. And for the purpose of this chest workout, it's performed in the form of a deficit push-up. And all you have to do is put up a couple mats so that you can allow your body to sink lower than it normally would if you were performing this on the floor. So this gives us a chance to sort of check the status today of what those elbows and wrists and shoulders actually feel like. Somewhat of an auto-regulation technique where you're able to assess, how do I feel today? And what's nice is if you perform it slowly, 3 seconds to lower yourself down, 3 seconds down in that accentuated stretch position, which we're going to see is going to help us as we prepare for some of the other exercises for hypertrophy, and then 3 seconds on the way back up. And while you'll be putting effort into these sets, the goal is not to take them all the way to failure. You're going to stop a few reps shy. Again, the main goal is to get some blood flow to the muscles that are going to be used that day, but more importantly, to assess those joints rep by rep. What might seem a little bit cranky on reps 1, 2, and 3 is, I'm sure, going to go away by reps 8 or 9 if you take that slow cadence to perform them. And here is where we make an important departure from those bodybuilding focused approaches, because it's not just about hypertrophy, but we want to maximize strength. As a physical therapist, I can tell you one of the things that we want to combat first and foremost as we get older is a loss of strength, because guess what? It's going to start happening in your 20s and it's going to keep happening all the way every decade that you live. So how do we sort of get in the way of that? By actually working on our strength. And the exercise of choice here is going to be a barbell or a dumbbell bench press. Now, the barbell bench press might be something that's just not comfortable for you. And if that's the case, the dumbbells will do the job. But it doesn't mean that you're going to shift the loads down along with it. You want to make sure that you're still maximizing some type of heavier work to keep your strength up. And the way we perform the exercise is actually very, very important. Because it's not just about increasing the weights and lowering the reps, but actually increasing the speed at which we perform those repetitions. And that's through something called compensatory accelerated training. Now what that means is we want to push the weight as fast as we can on the way up, realizing that if you're using appropriately heavy loads, that you're not going to be able to really move it that fast, at least visibly to somebody that's watching you. But that's okay. As long as the intention is there, you're going to be recruiting more of those type 2 fibers that are the ones that are the most susceptible to atrophy as you age. But again, because the weights are heavier and you're not actually accelerating them very quickly in space, they're going to be safer exercises. And remember, as you lower the weight down, that's always going to be done slow and under control. Don't rush that part of the lift. The only part that you want to focus on speeding up the bar or the dumbbells in this case is on that concentric push. Now, of course, if you required additional sets to work up to your working weight on this exercise, by all means take them, because there's no point in sacrificing, again, your body in the long term in the pursuit of whatever you're doing today. And that now brings us to the first of 3 hypertrophy-focused exercises where we get to lean on the latest research where we know that stretch is going to be an important factor when it comes to building muscle. But the exercise of choice here is going to be the incline dumbbell bench press. What we're really focused on first and foremost is complementing the work we've already done. If we've done a flat bench exercise where we focus on the sternal head of the pecs, what do we do for that clavicular head? Well, an incline dumbbell press. And the reason why we're using dumbbells is because I want to have the opportunity to take them to a lower position than where the barbell would normally stop us. What's there? Additional stretch. Now, as far as how far you go here, all the way. You take all these sets to failure. Guys, rather than trying to estimate what your effort level is in proximity to failure and maybe coming up short, take it all the way to failure, ensure you have maximum effort, and that's where maximum gains will be. The next exercise up is actually one you might be surprised to see in a longevity-focused hypertrophy workout, but it actually belongs here. And it's mostly because people don't do it right when they do it. And we're talking about a dip. And you can do this either body weight or weighted, but the focus is getting it right. And to avoid this becoming an orthopedic nightmare, you have to do 2 things. You have to be focused most of all on the position of your shoulder blades, and you can control that 2 separate ways. Number 1, don't allow your shoulders to shrug when you do a dip. Keep them down, even at the bottom of the exercise. A lot of us sink into our shoulders rather than keeping them there and simply lowering our body down. Secondly, don't let them roll forward. Keep them pulled back. If the shoulder blades are in place, you're going to find the exercise not only becomes easier on your shoulders, but more effective at building your chest. And we can make this even better here, understanding the benefits of stretch, by relishing in that stretch a little longer. And we perform a 1.5 rep style dip. That means you take it all the way to the bottom, once again under control, come up just halfway, and go back down into that stretch position again for a half a rep, and come back all the way to the top. These are grueling, but they're effective. And you're going to find that whether you do a body weight dip or a weighted dip, whatever repetition range you're normally going to get to, you're going to be cut down about to a half or 3/4. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, it's the stimulus that you get and the benefits you're going to get from the stretch position that are going to skyrocket the gains that you see from this exercise. And that brings us to the third and final of our hypertrophy-focused exercises, and this one, again, a good complement to what was already done. Because if you look at the exercise we already did, all the pressing and dipping is not doing anything about adduction. And one of the main functions of the chest is to adduct the arm across the body. And we're going to do that with a cable crossover, but we're going to do it in a very specific way. I call these tension sets. And the 10 comes from the 5 seconds it's going to take you to do the concentric portion of the exercise, and the 5 seconds it's going to take you to lower the weight back down. But the goal, again, is slow down your repetitions. If you want to gain, then you better have gained control of the muscle you're trying to build. And we do this by going through this slow motion repetition. And the way you want to use here is your 12 rep max on the exercise, knowing that you're not going to do 12 complete repetitions. With this slow motion performance of the reps, it's going to cut that way down, maybe to 5 or 6. But guess what? You're doing 10 reps on the exercise. How? Because when you reach those end full range of motion repetitions, you're going to crank out some partial repetitions in the stretch range of motion of the exercise. Again, I'm all about the partial repetitions only though when you've reached failure in a full range of motion. Because again, I'm not worried about just hanging out in the stretch position, but getting the benefits that we know as a PT and also as a strength coach throughout the full range of motion of every exercise. Remember guys, with longevity as the focus of your workout, it's not just the muscles that you should care about in isolation, but the joints those muscles cross and also the tendons and ligaments that attach them that should matter to you. And speaking of longevity, I'm not trying to make your workout longer, but rather more bulletproof. And that's why I need you to do one more exercise for me, and it's a corrective. And before you think, oh, that's the part that I can skip, I don't need it, I'm actually telling you this is the secret to being able to do these workouts for years and years to come. And the exercise of choice is going to be the band pull apart. And we're going to work your rotator cuff and scapular muscles. And for those of you out there saying, I didn't know I had them, that's exactly why you need to continue to do these exercises. And believe me, it's a small investment of time that's going to pay huge dividends down the road if you just invest in it. That being said, you're going to just do a couple sets, 2 or 3 sets, 15 repetitions. Instead of thinking of them as 2 to 3 sets of 15, think of them instead as 15 sets of 1, 2 to 3 times. There's a big difference. The mindset shows you there that each rep you do should be with high intention. Because if you're trying to correct a neuromuscular dysfunction that you have in an area of weakness, you got to attack it with precision. Do it this way, guys, and I promise you're not just going to see better results from it, but again, you're going to fortify yourself to do these types of workouts for years to come. And so I know a lot of you guys like to take these workouts to the gym with you and do them over and over again, so I'm going to make that easy for you. Here's a screenshot of the workout, everything I just covered, exercise by exercise, and now I've included the sets and reps so you can get this right every single time. Guys, if you like these workouts and you want more in the Bulletproof series, make sure you do 2 things. Number 1, you look for the latest video linked here, and also let me know down below what other do you want to see in this series next. If you haven't done so, click subscribe, turn your notifications so you never miss a video when we put one out. Also, guys, if you're looking for full programs and supplements, they're available over at ATHLEAN-X.com. Good luck. I'll see you soon.